Now we're at greatest common divisors. So we have a notion of divisibility, and we're going to look at if we have two integers, what should the greatest common divisor of two integers be? So a greatest common divisor is of two integers, a and b, is a number. So we'll use GCD of a, b to mean greatest common divisor of it. But when you write it down in a proof, you'll usually say, let's set it equal to d because you got to write it a bunch. So it's a number d that satisfies two properties. And the two properties that we've written here are just meant to capture what we mean when we say greatest and when we say common divisor. So the first property is that it's a common divisor. So it should divide both a and b. And the second property is a notion of is a way of defining the greatest part. So if we had any other natural number that divides both of them, it should somehow be smaller than d. And one of the ways in which we can say that is that if we had any other number that divided both of them, it should divide d. D should be bigger than it, right? Now we could use the less than sign, but it turns out it dividing d is a better way of capturing that it's smaller, and it's actually equivalent. So, but anyways, this is how we're going to define greatest. If we have any other divisor, it divides the biggest one. In the special case where the GCD of a and b is 1, that is, 1 is the only common divisor, we will say that a and b are relatively prime, or sometimes people say co-prime. Either of those is fine. And just some quick examples, the GCD of 2 and 4 is 2, clearly because 2 divides both of them. And the biggest integer that goes into the first one is 2, so 2 must be the largest. For the second one, the GCD of 27 and 40 is 1, if we were to think about divisors. And even when you go in here and you think about greatest common divisors, you're probably thinking about prime factors, right? The prime factors of 27, well, you have 3 times. And the prime factors of 40 are what? 2 and 5, I believe. So the prime factors are off, so they can't share anything in common. But anyway, oops. The GCD is 1, so these are coprime. So go ahead and take a minute and compute some of these greatest common divisors. And if you need to use a calculator, that's fine. But try to do it by hands first. And then we will see that there's a nice algorithm that we can use to do this.